Oh, here we got some pushing at the other end. Reed and Towns.
If you're Reed, you got to be careful, understanding Stewart is not available.
It was another night of high-octane action, and things got downright chaotic. We saw the Pistons and Knicks scrap their way through a playoff battle so physical, almost turned into a cage match. In Memphis, the Grizzlies finally showed some fight, but not before a certain superstar got knocked out of the game. And in LA, a three-time MVP hit a boiling point and had a full-blown tantrum. But we have to start in Detroit because, honestly, the action there was so intense that even the popcorn vendors were holding their breath. So, picture this. The game hasn't even really started yet, and boom, the first scuffle breaks out before the fans have even found their seats. We're talking full-blown wrestling, folks. It wasn't even near the ball, but Towns and Harris just started going at it, and before you know it, we had Durant getting involved like it was WWE. This is exactly the kind of madness we expect in the playoffs. Forget smooth plays, just throw that out the window. And of course, the Knicks came out firing. Oh, and did I mention how effortlessly Towns was sinking threes? This man was looking like he'd been practicing shots in his backyard all offseason. We're talking deep-range threes, not those I'll take the open shot threes. Towns was like a sniper. Hardaway Jr. tried to keep pace, but let's be real. This was a shootout, and both of these guys were not about to let up. Now, if you thought the first quarter was wild, wait until you get a load of the second. That's where things really got out of hand. Bodies were flying everywhere. No, seriously, like there were more bodies on the floor than at a dance-off. We had Hardaway Jr. with the perfect deep shots, Robinson getting into the action like a rabid dog, and everyone just exchanging blows metaphorically, of course. Then, out of nowhere, we saw some next-level drama. Cunningham goes up for the charge on Brunson, and that's when Papa Brunson decided to step in and defend his son. Oh boy, the crowd, not missing a beat, starts chanting like they're in a mosh pit, and suddenly, this whole thing felt less like a basketball game and more like a rivalry straight out of soap opera. And don't even get me started on the Pistons' late-game comeback. They weren't just crawling back, they were coming for blood. With the Knicks holding onto a slim lead, it looked like we were about to see the most dramatic finish of the postseason. We had Cunningham charging to the paint, Reed with a clutch block, and then a whole sequence of who's going to make the next big play. Well, let me tell you, it was Brunson who stepped up in the clutch like he was born for these moments. He started heating up, hitting shots left and right, and suddenly, the Knicks were up by double digits. The Pistons weren't backing down, though. With a minute left, they cut the lead to just 3, and the tension was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Now, you know what's coming next? The most chaotic finish imaginable. Picture this. With under 1.5 seconds left on the clock, Brunson steps to the line. The Pistons, praying for a miracle, do everything in their power to create chaos. Brunson nails the first free throw, misses the second on purpose, and then, wait for it, the buzzer sounded a little too early. Oh yeah, the timekeeper in Detroit was either trying to get in on the action or just decided to play a little prank on the refs. So the game gets halted, the refs call a timeout to review, and the Pistons get one last chance to tie it up. Now, if you think things couldn't get crazier, the Pistons run a terrible inbounds play, and boom, the game ends with a Knicks win. Detroit survives just barely. Let's quickly hit Memphis, because that game was almost as wild, but for different reasons. After getting completely embarrassed in the first 2 games, Memphis had one thing on their mind: redemption. Enter Ja Morant, the man, the myth, the legend. He took over in the first quarter like he had a vendetta against anyone who dared to stand in his way. He was pulling off step-back threes, blowing by defenders like they were traffic cones. The guy couldn't be stopped. And when I say couldn't be stopped, I mean it. He had 15 points in the first quarter and looked like he was on a mission to personally erase the pain of the Grizzlies' earlier losses. But just when it seemed like the Grizzlies were about to turn the game into a blowout, we got the most heartbreaking moment of the night. Morant gets absolutely crunched in a play that left him writhing in pain on the floor. And just like that, the energy in Memphis flipped. It was like the whole team had been unplugged. No one could find their rhythm without their star player, and that's when the Thunder pounced. SGA was lights out from deep, and we got a performance from him that was so efficient, it made a calculator blush. By the time we hit the third quarter, the Thunder were right back in it, and with some clutch plays from Jalen Williams, they cut the lead to just 12 points heading into the final period. But Memphis, without Morant, crumbled like a bad house of cards. The Thunder's defense locked down, and SGA went full beast mode. In fact, the Thunder finished the game on a 13-0 run, forcing the Grizzlies to fight tooth and nail just to keep up. They couldn't, and Oklahoma City walked away with the win. A tough one for Memphis, but hey, that's the beauty of the playoffs. Last but certainly not least, we had the Clippers in LA debuting their new arena. But in case you were wondering, this wasn't the soft opening. This was straight-up high-stakes basketball with playoff implications. The Clippers came out swinging, led by Aaron Gordon. Gordon was so hot in the first quarter that he should have been called in for a fire safety inspection. He dropped 11 points in just 5 minutes, completely putting the Clippers in control early on. But, of course, you can never count out a team with James Harden. The Beard came to life in the second quarter, scoring 13 points and leading the Clippers on a massive 23-2 run. Suddenly, the Clippers were up by double digits, and the momentum had shifted completely. But here's where things get even spicier. Jokic, the reigning MVP, was fuming on the bench like someone stole his lunch money. He had another one of his typical triple-doubles, but this time, it didn't matter. The Clippers went off in the second half, led by Kawhi Leonard, who was the perfect closer. The Clippers blew the game wide open, finishing with a 34-point victory and taking a 2-1 series lead. The new arena was rocking, and for good reason. The Clippers were looking like real contenders. Well, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.